No, this is a true story and sums up what was going through my mind as I was playing this, and I had no idea I was about to be bullshit the way I was when I played this, and I can say it is by far the creepiest hack I've played. If you were on IRC, you would have heard me talking about it as well. But anyway, it's late at night, and I don't have a lot of time, and I need to get to sleep. So this is all I have time for. So it all happened on tonight of all nights. I was bored, obviously attempting what I thought I could do to waste time as I chatted with the people in SMWC. We had good times, and we shared a few laughs together. Out of boredom, I decided to patrol the hacks waited to be moderated section. Seems that we had quite a bit. 33 if I recall correctly. The first few hacks I saw when I sorted them by date was a couple really horrible ones with bad screenshots to boot. Naturally showed these hacks to the subtleties currents on SMWC. We were laughing at how bad some of them were, but then I got to the hack called Mario. Just that. Nothing more, nothing less. The description seemed quite odd, as if some Japanese hacker was trying to translate the original plot of Super Mario World into English and failed horribly. I showed this to Kieran and he started laughing at the description. It reads as follows. As you play the role of Super Mario Plumber, verify that you are a beautiful Pazima Satoshua. Again, Bowser kidnapped the evil king. It is your job to save her. The hack includes 6 levels very long. It seemed dismissed. This as someone trying to act Japanese and release a crappy hack with some edits, or so. That's what I thought this was at first. Courtesy got the best of me. I decided to download the hack, not knowing what I was in for, since the single screenshot of the hack was the title screen with nothing but the letters Mario from Super Mario World's title screen. I thought it was a little odd how there were no dates or anything either, as hackers usually place their names and dates on the title to mark when the project was started. So I opened the hack. I was greeted by 2 files. One called free007014, a simple .txt file 27 KB in size, and the IPS file, simply named Mario. For some odd reason, I wanted to see what the author of the hack had to say, but when I opened the hack in Notepad, there was nothing but indulgable symbols and letters and punctuations, sort of like how when you open a ROM in a text editor like Notepad. Seems like the author just completely copied his ROM to .txt form, though I could be wrong. Taking a closer look at the top of the .txt file, mixed in with the gibberish, I found the only thing that looked like English there. Here's a piece of what I found. Find me. To be honest, I don't know what to make of this, and I thought it was to simply waste some of my time by making me find some text in the gibberish file. That I'm willing to bet no one will ever be able to make sense of. I decided that because my interest was growing steadily, I would start looking through my horribly disorganized download folder for a copy of a clean ROM, which I had downloaded a great deal of time before the events of tonight unfolded, and an IPS patcher. Of course, my choice for the job was Lunar IPS. So I then proceeded to move the ROM and the IPS patcher to the folder with the hack. I patched the RIM, not knowing what to expect next, and I quickly hurried to drag it to ZSNES and play what I thought was to be terrible in the form of a ROM image. I noticed on boot up that the author had taken the time to change the header of his hack. Instead of the usual Super Mario World you normally see when booting up a ROM in SNES, it just had the letters Mario there again. At this point, I gained a little hope, because normally people who do horribly half-assed edits to the ROM generally don't know enough to change a header title. I thought I wasn't wasting my time with this, and my mood brightened slightly at the thought of seeing what the author had to offer in this interesting little hack. So the title screen loaded, exactly like it would with Super Mario World, except it just had Mario on the title like I had mentioned earlier. Something else had grabbed my interest, Mysterio, than the usual absent of Layer 3 title on the title screen. Mario's normally bright-colored and happy-petaled seemed, how can I put it, dull. What was once violet-like red was now what seemed like gray with a slight red tint to it. And I'm fairly sure that his pants were looking more gray than blue, too. I thought this was strange, and I wondered why he had decided to give Mario such a dull palette. Regardless as to what his intentions were, I felt that something was wrong. Not in the sense that the palette was slightly bad, but the hack was empty, like something had happened. Upon pressing start and selecting a new file, like a lot of other countless Mario hacks I have played in the past, there was some sort of intro screen that basically described the earlier entirety of the plot in a short paragraph just small enough to fit into a small black box. I began reading, and for the most part, the message stayed the same. But there was one key factor that made this interesting. Apparently, the main antagonist of this hack wasn't Bowser at all. It was Mario? The message reads as follows. Welcome, this is Dinosaur Land. In this strange land, we find that Princess Toadstool is missing again. Looks like Mario is at it again. What the... This wasn't the original message from Super Mario World, I thought to myself. Normally I wouldn't think anything of this, seeing as how, over my nearly 2 years at SMW Central, I have played countless hacks and have seen many different intro messages. But this one really stuck out. At this point, I definitely knew that there was something odd about this hack. Upon letting the intro level music play, I pressed the start button on my controller to finally get to the overworld and began my journey into this unknown hack. Upon entering the overworld, everything seemed normal. Same old level paths, same old music, but the level names were different. Instead of Yoshi's house, like it always had been every time I've ever played Super Mario World, it was now just simply Yoshi's. The house part was gone. I thought that this was strange, and I began to lose hope in the hack because it had seemed like barely anything had changed at all from the original. I was hoping to see something new. Well, unluckily for me, I got my wish, as you'll see when you read on. I decided to enter the level out of curiosity. When I entered, the whole house that's normally there was gone. No more smoke, no more fire, no more little birdies, no more tree houses. All that was left was the message box. I decided to hit it. Upon opening, the message I expected to be there was replaced with what seemed like binary. Apparently it says notepad. At this point, I was on IRC telling everyone about how the hack was starting to weird me out, which in itself yielded some sarcastic responses, but hey, I expected it. Anyway, after this, my interest level in the hacks skyrocketed, and along with my paranoia, oh boy, was it in for a fun surprise. So I decided to head left. Upon reaching what was before known as Yoshi's Island 1, the level was now labeled Never Come Back. Now I thought things were going to be all Kuzo Death Trap, because generally this is what people name their levels in Kuzo hacks to make sure the players doesn't go there. To my surprise, it wasn't quite that way though. I wish that it had been. Upon entering level 105, I was greeted by the insane loud clown car sound that Bowser's flying vehicle makes right before Peach falls out. Of course, with my headphones being moderately high, the sound scared the living shit out of me, which wouldn't have happened if I had been so nervous beforehand. I decided this time I would be best if I had turned the volume down on my headphones, as to not get any more unpleasant surprises such as that one. When I entered the level, other than the music, everything seemed to be the same, except for the fact that the little Koopa that slides on the ledges wasn't there anymore, nor was the bonsai bill. The dragon coins was still there, however, for some odd reason, I wasn't able to collect it, or rather any dragon coins at all. The author made certain of that. I also noticed that there was a brown used box near the spot where the bonsai build normally shows up. I can only assume that this was a revisit to the level after I had beaten it all. I heard in some half-assed creepy stories in other Mario games. Now I was wondering why things were like this, making me wonder about the intro message. Had Mario done something previously to Dinosaur World? Was this in Bowser's point of view? I quickly dismissed the layer option because it seemed kind of stupid. So that left me thinking that Mario at one point in time in the author's story did something. But what? What did Mario do? My mind was nothing but rushed thoughts at this point. However, I quickly dismissed them and ventured further into the level, only to find that all blocks had basically been hit. Coins had been collected, save dragon coins. Those were still there and unobtainable. There were no enemies, and I could no longer go down collected save dragon coins. Those were still there and I can no longer go down the pipes. What kind of bullshit am I playing here? I kept thinking to myself. At this point, I felt uncomfortable. I decided to keep venturing. Eventually, I came across a message box, which I wasn't surprised was still in the level. Being the idiot I am, I went and hit the box. Upon hitting it, I was greeted with the familiar black box once again. The message was edited, obviously, as I had figured that this was a given at this point. It reads as follows: I hate you. Now I thought things were starting to get the vibe that the author was a twisted and warped individual, and that I was right about Mario having done something. At this point, I was basically rushing to get to the end of the level, so I just scurried by, and then I came across another message box. However, this one was just a blank box with point advance at the top with nothing else in it. I quickly disregarded it and headed off further to the right, hoping to free myself of the hell that was once level 105. Upon reaching the end, I saw a fire flower in the top box where the 4-way block insertion used to be. However, it was too high for me to reach by normal means, so I just continued onward, like the blind, curious idiot I am would so. So So I finally beat the level, and as usual, the path to the yellow switch place was unlocked. I decided to head up the path that normally leads to the yellow switch palace, and I found that when I entered the main overworld, every other landmass and decoration besides the ghosts from the ghost houses and Yoshi's Island itself were gone. Nothing really changed at the yellow switch palace except for the switch message. All that changed was that switch palace was changed to Mario's world. Boring. Anyway, just when I thought I was done with this abomination that calls itself a hack, I found that Yoshi's Island 2 has also been edited. Oh joy, I thought to myself. Upon reaching Yoshi's Island 2, I found that it had been renamed to Yoshi's House, the original name of level 104. I decided to enter and found that the palette of the level had been changed along with the background. They seem to have been changed to the same palette as Yoshi's Island 3. You know, greenish tan and such, except the background was pushed down some and was a rotten brown color. And that the vegetations on the FG was now no longer present. I decided to explore the level a bit and came across the trail of Koopas that countless players have used a shell to rack free 1-ups with. I decided to ignore them and go see it if any more of the level was changed. I eventually came across the question mark that holds Yoshi and decides to free him. Upon freeing him, I got this message. This had me wondering what kind of... Hooray, thank you for rescuing me. My name is Yoshi on my way to rescue my friends. Mario trapped me in that egg. This had made me wonder what kind of sick and twisted hack I was playing. I had thought of all possible scenarios of Mario attacking Dinosaur Land horribly and causing irreversible damage. The author had me hooked with his sick little game, and like any other idiot, I took the bait and kept coming back for more. Something not far off from the Yoshi question block, I found a message box. In the same place I remember that it always had been, though. If I'd learned anything at all from playing this, it's that whatever had to be in that message box message was not going to be even remotely normal in the slightest. This made me hesitate to hit it, but I ended up doing so anyway. I wanted to find out more. The message I was greeted with was as follow. But is there anything I can do to change your mind? What the fuck? I thought to myself. What the hell did this even mean? Change my mind? What would I change my mind about anyway? Was this about Mario and whatever he did? And about how people were trying to convince him to stop? Was Yoshi talking to me through message boxes? Or was it about me? About me playing the hack, asking me as if the hack was trying to talk to me through message boxes? Either way, whether it was for more backstory on what Mario had done, or if it was questioning my decision to keep going on, I decided to keep progress despite the obvious side that I should have quit playing the hack a while ago. As I progressed further, I found that I was right. All vegetation was now gone, and nothing was left at all, save a few enemies like chucks and moles and such. Even the pipes were gone. I came across another message box. Like all other times before, I decided to hit it. I was greeted with yet another cryptic message. This is the selfish way out. The selfish way out? What the hell? When he called me selfish for continuing to play the hack despite the warnings, had Mario made some kind of selfish decision that had befriended him? Was Yoshi still trying to talk to me? What the hell was this guy trying to tell me? At that point, I was creeped out to the point that I was shaking slightly, a mix of aspiration, fear, and the fact that my room was terribly cold last night. I closed the message box once more, proceed further. The area with the moles seemed the same, except for the fact that the block text to the vine was gone, along with the happy clouds and dragon vine coin the vine allowed access to. This made me feel gloomy, to say the least. Not so much frightened as I was depressed. It's a feeling I couldn't really explain well. From that point on, I was basically just a big empty stretch of land to the end of the level. I quickly proceeded and wanted to get the fuck out of there, as I felt that I had spent enough time looking around. So me and Yoshi, I still had him at the time, opened up the next path on the overworld. It too was changed. What was once Yoshi's Island 3 now read as Yoshi's Island 7. Memories of Super Bido World flooded my mind. And the levels would take giant leaps in number orders, which made it seem ridiculous, though at the time I didn't quite find it as humorous. Due to common sense and obvious reasons earlier explained, I entered the level. As I entered, I was welcomed by a solid black background and a blue and gray colored floor. The place seemed frozen, lifeless, and barren. There was nothing in this level at all, save the goal point.